Okay, people, today let's take a quick look at the Boss Fight Studio Red Sonja, or Red Sonja if you're nasty. I have been threatening this review for a few weeks now. I've gotten behind. There is a stack of stuff in the other room, and I thought tonight's the night. Or, well, today's the day if you're watching this in the morning, or if you're watching it in the afternoon, this afternoon's the afternoon. However you want to put it. I just know that looking at the package, oh, look at Red Sonja poking through the window there. Has the extra heads, has some stuff in the background. There's a pretty promotional picture with the logo. Red Sonja! On the back, there's another pretty promotional shot, and another, and then all the accessories it comes with, along with a bio in case you're unfamiliar. On the other side, compatible with H.A.C.K.S, there's some window, and then includes one of 3 collectible inserts. On the top, more window, 12 plus, Boss Fight logo on bottom. There's some legalese, logos, inclusions, scan type things where you can find Red Sonja official. Let's get this open and see what's going on. Alright, straight out of the package, it's pretty much what I expected. A lot of things to like, a couple of things that annoy me. Well, okay, one big one, but we'll get to that. I think this is our first look at the Boss Fight H.A.C.K.S female blank. The body itself has some muscle tone and a female shape to it, but everything that is Red Sonja is an overlay. These glove cuffs with the leather texture is a separate piece, which is cool because you can see skin tone through that hole. Same thing down at the boots. This strap coming around the top is attached to this overlay, the upper boot with the cuff and the leather look. And if you move the foot out of the way, you can see this flaps up. And the lower part of the leg is painted brown to keep that from showing skin tone through here. So I'm guessing if you heat this up and pop this off, you can just slide it here, but the bottom will be brown. So it's not a perfectly blank body if you remove the Sonja parts, but it's dang close. I can't remember if the blanks come with booted feet, but this feels very Red Sonja-ish. There's the heel on it, the leather to match the rest of the boot. It's a good transition. These studded straps around the thigh come around to a leather look on the back. There is a sheath on the left side. Those are also overlays. You can take both those off. That puts the crotch cover right in view. And I love the sculpt here. Again, leather strap. There's some gold rings on the outside. The silver mail to the front and the back. That matches the upper really nice. But the thing about the upper, it stays in place, mostly because it doesn't have a swap piece. It's meant to stay on the figure throughout the different looks. So it's a bit tighter. Sure, it's separate. And okay, it's not anatomically correct in either place. So it's not like we're playing fast and loose with female bits and bobs here. For me, it's more stay in place. This stays in place. This doesn't. Well, when it's standing on the shelf, it's gonna stay like that. It's gonna do what it's supposed to do. But as you're posing around or messing with it, it just does its own thing. Also may need to heat it up a little bit because when I feel like it's in the right position in the back, it flares up in the front. If I get it down in the front far enough, it flaps up in the back. Well, just a little. Enough. Thankfully, like I mentioned, there are swap out parts, and I have messed with the other one, and it stays down a lot better. We'll get to that in accessories. Another swap out piece is the shoulder armor, and it has a nice metal look to it, but then you touch it and it's a rubbery, very soft, only because it gets real thin right there. That's why it's flexing like that, but I guess that's to keep you from poking your eye out. It stays in place because it's plugged in the back, and it's the actual plug. If you pull it out, you find out that Find out that that's also helping to hold the upper part of the costume on. It does start out floating up, but as soon as you bring the hair down, it helps hold that in place. And that brings us to the head. I really like the look of this in hand. I was worried there for a second when we started seeing pictures from the factory and the details looked a bit sparse, but in hand, you can see that there is a nice sculpt to it. There just isn't the blush, is that what it's called, on the cheeks to kind of define those, bring those out. There's not a lot of makeup going on other than the lipstick and the eyeliner and, well, no, there's no up there either. There's just a lot of skin tone going on, and with it being light, which I really like that, especially with the red hair flaming out from the top, everything works for me. I'm just not a bangs kind of guy. So that's just personal preference. But when it does come to the hair, it's got a nice flow to it, and it has a dry brush on top to bring out the sculpted details. It's got some flair to it. It sticks out. But it's also plastic hair, so it will get in the way a bit, but I like that it's going back. It does get out of the way of articulation. Speaking of that, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck, but it does have a kick in the stick like we see with Medicom Mafex figures. So if you want to looken up more, you want it kicking back, but if you want more down, you can turn that around and it'll flex her more in a down position. Not a lot of up, but quite a bit of down. Very nice tilt though. To the left, to the right. That's probably another reason for this being super soft, is to get out of the way of the hair. Looking side to side. One hell of a butterfly joint at the shoulder going back forward. In the full back position, it does open up the sculpt a bit, but it's hidden by the bra part. Pin coming out to the shoulder rotates around. Another reason for soft shoulder pads. There you go. And there's a hinge that goes up to there. Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow comes all the way up. Swivel at the wrist with a up and down hinge on a weapon wielding hand. Love it. Dumbbell joint mid torso, kicks forward, kicks back, tilt, tilt, rotation. And then there is a ball joint at the waist, and that turns and crunches and arcs way back. So altogether, oh no, it's supposed to do that. Slow down. I just cranked it too hard. Altogether, it crunches that far, arcs back, does some tilt, does some tilt. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks forward and back and out. Not great. But the swivel is integrated into that assembly with the leg coming up that high, so there is some rotation to it. Double knee. Oh, so boom. Oh, now that's interesting. I flexed the knee too far forward, and it's actually a cap on the front. That's probably for swappable parts on the blanks later. Then at the ankle, there is a hinge that goes back to there, goes forward, front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories out of the package, there are 2 weapon gripping hands, 2 fists, then there's a left relaxed hand and a right gripping larger. Oh, I know what that's for. Let's pop the hand out and put that large grip in. And a little tight, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. It's a double pop. There was 1 and then 2 to get it all the way in there. Because going to weapons, there is this sword, silver blade, gold guard, kind of a batwing look to it, kind of spiky with a gem right in the middle. Ribbed grip, pointy pommel. And that comes with a scabbard that matches the overall scheme, that leather look with the wraps and then some gold on the ends. Very nice grip. It's not going to fall out. In fact, it's kind of tight. This large grip hand does hold the scabbard fairly well. Then you can have her drawing it and holding the sword in the other hand. But that also has a mushroom peg on the side of it, and that is to go into, will it go here? I think it's meant to go on this belt. Oh, the golds. You guys know I love these little paint hits for every little bitty detail. But there is a ring on this side. And then like I showed a minute ago, this is meant to pop apart. That's how you swap out the lower pieces. Notice the silver transferred from the inside of this. I guess in the package, it was rubbing along and, oh, that's the butt side. It was rubbing and it's kind of transferred onto here. I will have it covered 99% of the time, so that doesn't bug me. I'm just pointing it out. Putting the belt over the bikini bottom does help it stay in place a bit. So there is that. She also has this mean looking axe, this blade coming off here with a pointy, and there's a pointy, and there's a pointy, and there's some dents and dings from swinging on enemies, and the ball on the end, and then a spiral black handle. Has absolutely no problem holding it. I noticed this ring on the back of the belt that holds the sword, and I thought, well, if you don't want to use the scabbard, you could just throw the sword through there. But now I'm thinking that maybe this can go in there. Yeah, once you get to here and, oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Because she also has this knife, kind of the same design as the sword, got some golds, got some silvers. You can store that away in the knife scabbard on this strap. That is a lot of stuff slung to the left though. So if you don't want to leave it like that, you can swap these out if you want this on the right side. The metal looking plastic parts go the same distance on each side. So if you slide this up the right, it looks just as at home as it did on the left. If you don't want the sheath but want to keep the bands, there's also this third strap that looks like this one. There's also these gold bands. This one has a spring type look to it. It has some sections and then a jewel gem thing on the outside. And then this one's fairly plain all the way around. That's meant to go on the biceps, but you can't get them on without removing the hand and then removing this, the top of the gauntlet, the top of the glove. It doesn't seem to want to get in the way of articulation. It still allows the arm to go down. But while I have the gloves off, there's also alternate tops for those. This is the one that came on it in the package. It's got this cutout in it, and then this is more pointy. I think of this one as more, well, I guess they're both kind of piratey, aren't they? But not huge differences, but enough. And they are marked with a right and a left on the inside. The alternates are taller than the gloves that came on it in the package. It comes up the arm a bit more. Let's pull the torso apart again, pull this off, and pull this off. Because like I said way back, there is an alternate lower piece, and it still has the male on the front and the male on the back, but it has a red sash under it. And like I said, it kind of locks itself down in position a bit better than the other one. There's just a lot more plastic to it. There's a lot more to grip on, so it doesn't, I mean, if you hit it, yeah, it's gonna go back up, but it doesn't seem near as floppy. Pull the head off again, pull this piece out, put this piece on, and ooh, that peg in the back is kind of long. That's why I pulled the head off. You try to do this up under the hair, and it can kind of be a pain in the ass. That gives her a shoulder armor kind of look. The package shows it sticking up like this. My brain wants it to do this, but I'm okay with this too. And I like more gold, both in the ridges of this. It brings in more leather, and then this jewel color to kick down to this. I think I like this overall look a bit better. It just feels more warrior-y. Oh, we're not done though. This head, as much as I like it, I think I like this alternate head more, and it's not just because of the hair, although that does play a big part. I love this swoop coming down over the right. I just think her face is a bit more defined. Maybe there is some red to the cheeks here compared to the other one. Maybe the eyes have a bit more black around them. There's something about this that I like better face-wise. There's also this head, that screaming look, that going to battle look, but I don't usually care for these. Even if she is a warrior woman, I kind of feel that having a stern look makes her more badass. Nothing wrong with this, don't get me, in fact, I just had an idea. Oh, no, the head ball here is just slightly too big for that, but I think that will work if I can get it down on the neck. Too big? I don't know. Playday incoming. But for me, it's going to be this head. And it does have more swoop to it. It's not as relaxed as this hair. In fact, I thought at some point that this was going to have swappable hairs, but that definitely does not. Oh, wait. No, I may have popped the glue, but it's definitely secured in there. Well, I went to do some poses and stuff, and I was going to pull the weapons out and use those, and I noticed that there is another peg on the inside of the weapon holding belt. So I am guessing that you can take that and plug that into this ring on this side. Get in there. Okay, that's my configuration right here. And if you want to use it on the first one, there's also that ring there. Size-wise, Red Sonja stands at about 6 1/4 up to the top of her actual head, and then her hair puts her up to about 6 9/16, which is just barely shorter than the Loose Collector Red Sonja and then the Frazetta Girls Icon Collectibles Vampirella. Nothing wrong with the tanness, but man, that pale skin tone with the red hair, the fiery red, whereas Loose Collectors is a bit darker red. It's just two different renditions of Red Sonja. Not too bad next to the Mezco 1/12 Collective Conan, but I really like the look next to the Frazetta Girls Icon Collectibles Fire and Ice Dark Wolf. Here she is next to the boss fight Epic Hacks Mel Blank. And then here's what she'll look like if you want to fit her in with either Marvel Legends or Star Wars Black Series. In fact, here she is with the Marvel Legends Moondragon and Old School Evil Rogue, which is an odd pairing, but these are the ones I had out here. So at the end of the day, fiddly but fun. How about that? I say fiddly because everything is an overlay here, and that is not a bad thing. It gives lots and lots of options, which I think is the whole point of their upcoming Epic Hacks female blank. You can do whatever you want. It's just that for me, when it comes to figures like this, and there's things not mounted down, okay, it really comes down to the lower part of the armor, the bikini bottom. Oh, if there was a peg hole, and then a peg on the inside of that part, somewhere on the lower back, low down, to keep it in place, I would have no complaints here. Sure, there's some experimentation with the kneecaps popping off, which I think is going to be a swappable thing in the future. And then the shoulder pads, the softness there, because of the hair hanging down, does like to get rowdy. It likes to get rambunctious on you. You'll turn the head, and this will pop, and that'll push the arms, and then that'll come around, hit the scabbard, knock the thing up. It's just it's a chain of events whenever you're moving this around. You find that pose, though, that display-worthy stance, and it's good to go. It looks good. I like the paints. There's layers to it. I love the skin tone. I love the hair. I love the face. I was worried about that for a minute, but it came out fine. It's just getting to that point. But that's the nature of this beast when you're working with this many swappable parts, this many overlays, working with a blank body. Fiddly but fun. I should have stuck with that. But you know me, I like to ramble. I like to get long-winded about things, only to come back around to that same point. Bye.